أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه الكرام ومن اتبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين أما بعد فالسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of us, for families, and always find it in His infinite mercy to have mercy on us, forgive our sins, and grant us all places in Jannatul Firdaus. Allahumma ameen. Tonight, inshallah ta'ala, in the few minutes that I have, I'll first remind myself, then you, of something pertinent to Allah's deen, with the hope that in our reality it will help inshaAllah ta'ala to get us all closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this deen of ours is a very simple deen. Today it is being made complicated by the same people who are expected to follow it in its true simplicity or simple manners. With this being said, I would like to reflect on an aspect of this deen tonight, inshallah ta'ala, that is relevant to us. And this may be very subjective to some people, but regardless what your perception is of it, it is the reality. Muslims, from since the revelation started with the Prophet ﷺ until today, happens to be living in the midst of non-Muslims. It may be fortunate for some of us that where we came from, our environment did not dictate that we were all living with Muslims alone. But for the vast majority, we dwell with non-Muslims. So it is only wise that we understand our relationship with them, and we understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expects out of us in dealing with them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran to the entire world, and no one was exempted or is exempted from this message. And it is a message that echoes the same sentiment that was sent to the previous prophets, meaning that the popular religions of the past, especially the monotheistic religions, Christianity and Judaism, Islam have a strong relationship. In fact, Islam is the build up or the follow up from those two, because all the prophets that were involved in those two prophesied the coming of Muhammad ﷺ and the finality of this message. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you go to chapter 2 of the Quran, Surah Al-Baqarah, starting from verse 42, 43, 44, 45, 46 and onwards, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started the build up of that relationship in reminding us what our position should be like. In the first few verses of Surah Al-Baqarah leading up to that, He categorized all of us, Muslims, Jews, Christians, Buddhists, Hindus, atheists, followers, devil worshippers, everybody into three categories. It's either you a believer, a unbeliever, or someone in between. And the group in between that is called very distinctively hypocrites, profess belief and hide disbelief. And they would enjoy, وَإِيَّاذُ بِاللَّهِ, the deepest depth of the fire, the severest of punishment that you can think of. And we ask Allah to save us from that. So if you and I are desirous to be saved from that, then it left us with two categories, believers and unbelievers. So if we want to be from amongst the believers, then obviously we have to listen to what Allah says, because Allah dictates what the believers should do. And Allah dictates what the definition of the unbelievers are, or the definition is. for the unbelievers. So we know that the people who have the closest affinity to Muhammad ﷺ, when he came with revelation, the message, after revelation started, was the Jews and the Christians, and they were in his midst. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala distinctively outlined to us what we do here. And he told Bani Israel, and in telling us, he told Bani Israel, remember your covenant with me. يا بني إسرائيل اذكروا نعمتي التي أنعمت عليكم وأوفوا بأهدي أوفي بأهدكم وإياي فارهبون. That remember the favors that I give to you. And Bani Israel received many favors from Allah. So much so that even up to today, they're still thinking that they are enjoying that privilege, that they were known as the best of Allah's servants. So they still think today that they are like that. But Allah changed that because of their disobedience. And Allah is telling them, and He told them when Muhammad ﷺ came to them, He said, fulfill your covenant, your agreement with me, and I will fulfill mine with yours. That is, accept Muhammad. Listen to what Muhammad have to say. Don't make up stories. And don't try to do something differently. And don't try to compromise. And don't expect him to compromise on Allah's standard. Right? وَأَوْفُوا بِالْأَهْدِ أُوفِ بِأَهْدِكُمْ وَإِيَّايَ فَارْهَبُونَ وَآمِنُوا بِمَا أَنزَلْتُ مُصَدِّقًا لِمَا مَعَكُمْ وَلَا تَكُونُوا أَوَّلَ كَافِرٍ بِهِ وَلَا تَشْتَرُوا بِآيَاتِي ثَمَنًا قَلِيلًا وَإِيَّايَ فَاتَّقُونَ. Allah didn't say وَإِيَّايَ فَارْهَبُونَ وَإِيَّايَ تَخْرُجُونَ or whatever. فَإِيَّايَ فَاتَّقُونَ. So that is the reminder for everybody above. Only Allah should be feared. And Allah says, believe in what is given to Muhammad and what was given to you. Alayhi salatu wassalam. And if you truly believe in what was given to you, then you would accept what Muhammad says. And do not trade these verses for a small price. We should never, as Muslims, try to understand what Allah is trying to tell us. What we should do is try to understand how we should respond to Allah. It is not obligated that we say everything that we know, but it is an obligation to know everything that we say. Means to have an understanding that we say. It is not an obligation to act to every aspect of our knowledge, but it is an obligation to act on that which we know is correct, and to stick with what is correct. So Allah said, tell Bani Israel, don't worry to trade this. Today, that is what the Muslims are trying to do. The Muslims are supposed to look to Islam for answers, but they're looking for Islam to accommodate the answers that they generate from other sources. Then Allah says, وَلَا تَلْبِسُوا الْحَقَّ بِالْبَاطِلِ وَتَكْتُمُوا الْحَقَّ وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. Look, to be a believer is a very simple thing. There's nothing complicated in being a believer in Allah. And if we teach our children this, believe in Allah, be convinced that only Allah can help you. Allah is your creator, your nourisher, and your sustainer. And anything you need in life, turn to Allah. Turn to Allah and Allah will put it in place for you. Do not have them develop this reliance on their paycheck, on income from other sources, or somebody will generate something for them. Teach them this from small, that they should look out, because that is what Allah says. And وَلَا تَلْبِسُوا الْحَقَّ بِالْبَاطِلِ وَتَكْتُمُوا الْحَقَّ وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. And you and I, like Allah is reminding us, telling Bani Israel, we should never conceal the truth with falsehood when we know what the truth is. So we should not deny the people around us knowing the truth once we know it. And Allah is telling Bani Israel, this is the attitude you need to stay away from. وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ وَارْكَعُوا مَعَ الرَّاكِعِينَ. That Allah says establish prayer, give zakah, and prostrate with those who prostrate. Who are those who prostrate? That is where we should find ourselves. So with all our relationship with them, we don't listen to what they have to say. We don't try to be like them. and then expect to be at Allah. Allah made a clear distinction. He said, establish prayer, give zakah, and prostrate. Submit with those who prostrate, meaning Muhammad ﷺ and the believers. And that is where we need to find ourselves. Don't concern ourselves with them, because they are not concerned with us. When they are concealing the truth and presenting falsehood, they're not thinking about us. They're thinking about themselves. أَتَأْمُرُونَ النَّاسَ بِالْبِرِّ وَتَنْسَوْنَ أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَنْتُمْ تَتْلُونَ الْكِتَابَ أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ. You're commanding people to do that which you're not willing to do yourself. So all these things Allah is reminding us of Bani Israel, the people of the book, and the people around Muhammad. So the believers are on this side, and we need to understand that we can't be like that. But unfortunately, the Muslims are like that today. Because we tend to think that this which we have, we can't promote it wholeheartedly. We have to try a fancy way. We have to try to find a way that is receptive and acceptable by the other groups. Allah did not say that. Allah said, accept Muhammad, because Muhammad is what you're supposed to be. It is not any way around. That is why Islam came in its natural form. And if people understand the natural form of Islam, they're inclined to follow. But if you give them an artificial version of it, oh, we fast because medically it's good for us. We fast because it's an injunction from Allah. And Allah said through this, we may get close to Him. That is a side benefit. So we have to give the reason that Allah gives, and people will comprehend that. So Allah tells Bani Israel, don't do this. Do not try to fabricate things to make my deen look well. My deen by itself, in its entirety, is the best form of presentation the human intellect can comprehend. You don't need to change anything. Just be yourself. Be what you're supposed to be. And that is what Allah is trying to tell Bani Israel. Don't change that which you have to be a believer. Just be a believer. Just accept Muhammad and be like what Muhammad is. And be like his people. That's why Allah says submit with them. Don't be different. And then there is a very important instruction here for all of us. And this is what I would like to highlight. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ وَإِنَّهَا لَكَبِيرَةٌ إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِعِينَ. Then Allah is instructing us and Bani Israel, be steadfast on this thing we call prayer. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ. See, Allah says seek help with patience. Patience is before Salah. That does not mean that Salah is not important or is second-rated to patience. No. All of us, we need to be patient in presenting this deen, because results will not come as a way of our expectation. So let us not expect that kind of a behavior or response. But what we should expect is that people should be inclined to Allah. And we have to set that in place, and we have to put the environment in place. We can't expect the rest of the world to do that. So we have to be patient on that which we do. Now, according to the scholars, patience is of three categories in this deen. And there's a very thin line between time wasting and patience. You know, like I said, there's a very thin line between intelligence and insanity. You ever check that? You can flip very fast. So yes, there's a very thin line between time wasting and patience. Patience means to be steadfast on something with expectation to get the desired results. Time wasting is then when you're being steadfast and getting nowhere, and you're still saying you have to be patient. No, you don't have to be patient all your life. You have to determine when there is a time to stop with this. So you can't be preaching to the same choir, and you can't be saying the same thing over and over and say we need to be patient, we need to be patient. After a while, when the intellect is not accepting that which is correct, and it is not willing to comprehend that which is necessary to make changes, then you have to move on. You inform or you help somebody 2, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and they don't have the desire to change or become better, you ignore them completely. So Muhammad, Bani Israel, the Christians, the Buddhists, whoever is with you, and they are rejecting what you're saying, regardless what you do, and regardless how much you're trying with them, it is a waste of time now. They already know the truth, and furthermore, they know the truth before you came. So they're just playing a game. So many people here know what is expected, but we just think that, you know what, it is wise to play with the other man's consciousness. So that is the difference between time wasting and patience. You continue after a while and you don't see results and you don't get anything done in what is the expected direction, then it is wasting time to continue. So the scholar says that according to this deen, patience is of three categories. As-sabru ala ma amara Allah. Patience on that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commands. So now, if Allah say pray 5 times a day, we can be making all these excuses not to pray. Allah said to pray 5 times a day. And even if it's a struggle for us, we should try. That's why the scholars say you bear patience on that which Allah commands, because it is the best thing. It is better to die on that, struggling to perform it, than not making effort to perform it. So anything that Allah commands, we're supposed to exercise some patience, endurance, steadfastness in it. Allah said to fast in the month of Ramadan. We don't question, well, the day is long and the sea. We try to fast, and if we can't, then the Sharia give us exemption. But we don't make excuses before. Oh, well, I can't fast because the days are long, or I'm diabetic. If you're diabetic, then you know your condition, and someday you can sustain fasting. You should know yourself. Try to fast, and if you can't, well, then you're excused. But don't make the excuses before. We have to be patient on everything that Allah said. Allah said to give you zakah, and your zakah is not only bringing your money and put it at the masjid, or give it to an individual and say he will distribute it. You have to be patient and steadfast in that. You have to make sure. Do you know that you're responsible to make sure that your zakah get to people who are truly deserving? Even if you give it to a next vehicle to distribute it? Do you know that that is ultimately your responsibility? We have people who are collecting people's zakat today, and they fly first class to go and distribute the zakat. And we endorse them. That is the state of affairs today. Everybody have something that they're doing for this deen. But if all of us give it due process and make the effort to find out how this is being spent, trust me, they would have to stop. But many people just give their money. Oh, these brothers are good brothers. People smiling, people doing good things don't mean that they're good. Doesn't necessarily mean that. So it is your responsibility. And Allah says, وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. So the second category of patience, as-sabr amma naha Allah anhu. That we have to bear patience on that which Allah prohibits us from doing. So if something is haram, there is a reason why it is made haram. So we can't say, brother, I'm struggling, and I have $1, and I can spend my dollar to buy a lottery ticket. Chances are I may win. Chances are you may be out of your dollar too. And that's what you have to remember. You're not getting it back. So I win the lottery, I win $5 million, I can help the Muslims in this area, I can build a parking lot, I can build a masjid, I bring $1 million to the masjid. It is haram. It can be $1 billion. It can be 1 penny. If it is known to come from haram source, we can't say that it would help us, and we take it. We have to tell ourselves we have to be steadfast on upholding the standards of Allah. And Allah will make it easy. As simple as we sit here in this masjid, if we know people coming to this masjid, their income is from haram source, and we know that they are giving money to build this masjid, to uphold this masjid, to upkeep this masjid, to be part of the building funds of the masjid, and we know for sure that their money is coming from haram. If we don't know, we don't go investigate and ask. Whoever bring their money and put it in the box, we don't go find out and ask. But that which we have knowledge of and we know, we should not accept. Because this is maintained on that which is pure. Because what Allah says about this? What Allah say about this? Allah said people who love to purify themselves come here. That is what Allah said. This is built on purity. And this should be maintained on purity. So that is why we have to bear patience. Patience and that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to stay away from. It doesn't matter how good it looks. Now, there's certain exceptions to the general rule. If you're very, very hungry and there's nothing to eat and there's pork there that is conditioned that you can consume to fulfill your hunger, not to satisfy your hunger. There is a difference. You don't eat haram to satisfy your hunger. Say, okay, I find food now and I'm going to indulge. You eat enough to sustain yourself until you get to a place. So that might be an exception to the general rule. They have some exceptions like that. But no, where it is blatant that it is haram and we are under normal circumstances, we can't tolerate that. We can't. If we don't know, we don't know. Whoever bring their money secretly and put it in the masjid box, and we don't know, that we don't go question. But that which we know, we uphold, because this is what we are told to do. And then the third, sabr ala ma qadar Allah. Patience and that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed. There's nothing more to be patient about. Patience and that which Allah command. You're ordering your children, you're commanding them to do the right thing, to do the right thing, to do the right thing. If all their lives you order them to do the right thing, and they come to an age where they can help themselves and be of help, and they're still insisting on doing the wrong thing, then you know it's wasting time now. It's up to Allah. Make dua. All the time you have to make dua. Whatever is haram, you stay away from. So if Allah decree and predestine something for us, we have to accept. That's what the Prophet ﷺ said, as-sabr ala sadmatul ula. That patience is in the first reaction, the first defense. So on hearing upon someone's death or catastrophe or something, you know, people have this normal thing, hey, how did he die? Oh, how did the accident happen? What happened? By virtue of doing that, you deny yourself the reward. But if you said from the time you hear, without asking any other question, here somebody said, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. From Allah we come and to Allah we return. And you submit to that, reward would be in place inshallah. Because you're submitting yourself to the qadr of Allah. You're not questioning the qadr of Allah. Anytime something happens, it is according to the qadr of Allah. So that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, as-sabr ala sadmatul ula. He said, if you hear in someone's death, you don't start crying first, waiting. And then, after you answer all these questions, then you're going to say, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. The opportunity has passed. Ali radiallahu ta'ala who said, patience to our deen is like the body to the head. Without your head, can you live? So that is how integral patience is for us. According to the Mufassirs, some of them say that patience and salah are the two tools that can efficiently, if used properly, get us the mercy of Allah, earn us the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's nothing wrong as believers. If you and I are experiencing some hardship or we are undergoing some hardship, to even say, we don't have to be in prayers. We can say, Ya Rabb, oh Allah, help me in this regard. It can be you're trying to unscrew a bolt and you're getting a hard time. There's nothing wrong to say, oh Allah, make it easy for me. Because Allah is the one who can make it easy. Everything in life, that is what the prayer is. Or you get to actual prayers, ruku and sujood. So you bear patience in that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and you pray at the same time. You don't fight in disgust. Right? So anything in life, and we should teach our children, you're going through some hardship, you're experiencing a situation you're not accustomed to, do not get frustrated, do not bog yourself down and think that you're the only one who can conquer this. No, Allah is the one who is in control. You should teach them, remind them that, you know what, submit to Allah. Ask of Allah, say, Allah, you're the most powerful, help me in this. And see if Allah will not help. We prepare to take exams. And let me tell you something, before the exams, you have all the information. And when you go into the examination room, you're blank. Right? What do you think can help you? See if you don't make a dua to Allah and ask Him to help you to regain the knowledge that He bless you with if He don't help you. Rather than to sit there and you sit there for 5-10 minutes and you remain blank. Teach your children this. We should teach each other this. Remind each other of this. Because that is what Allah says. وَاسْتَعِينُوا بِالصَّبْرِ وَالصَّلَاةِ. So let us not make excuses that kufr is doing this, kufr is doing that, and this is what's happening, and that is what is happening. We have to tell ourselves that this is what the situation is. Do you know if you spend more time with your children, they would have less time to spend with other people and other things? You ever thought of that? Do you know that more time you look at your children, there will be less that people can look? Do you know that more you care for your children, the less people would think about them? And that is what you and I need to do. We need to make sure that we handle the task on hand the way it's supposed to be handled. And the rest of the world will take care of it. The rest of the world will take care of itself. Because you know what Allah says? إِنَّهَا لَكَبِيرَةٌ إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِعِينَ. See these things that we're talking about? They're very heavy on people except for those who truly fear Allah. So this is not an easy exercise. Not too many people remember Allah. People, when they're in a state of frustration, they remember letters of the alphabet more than they remember Allah. You know there's fancy letters that people use from the alphabet? They don't remember. Well, seek refuge in Allah and say Bismillah wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And that is some of the things that we need to exercise. Allah said that this would be very, very heavy, except on those who have fear, those who have faith in Him and are convinced that this is what it is. Only those who are convinced would be willing to teach their children, because they said this would actually protect them. Allah says in Surah Al-Ankabut, if you go to chapter 29 of the Quran, very clear, verse 45. Inna salata tanha anil fahsha'i wal munkar wa la dhikrullahi akbar wallahu ya'lamu ma tasnaun. That verily this salah is the invisible shield between good and bad, and it protects us from everything that is evil. Our children may not understand salah, but they see us in that exercise often enough, they would be motivated to exercise that. Oh, I see my dad come home in hardship, my mom comes home in hardship, and I hear them talking about the situation, and then I go see them pray. Maybe that would help. If your children go up with that understanding, they will develop that understanding, and they would hold on to that reaction. Before I came here today, I was in an ex-masjid. And a kid, probably like 4 years old, the teacher was talking about Tawheed. Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, wa Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah, wa Tawheed al-Asma'i wa Sifat. So when I feel the kid was laughing, small children. Right, I don't see anyone that probably is young, a little older than that little kid there. Ahmed. Right, and when he finished, I asked him, what did you learn from the class? He said, I learned Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Can you imagine that? Information. You may think they don't learn, but they're more attentive than you and I. Children have the ability to do 5, 6 things at the same time and concentrate on it at the same level. So don't deny them that. They would always learn to roll on a scooter, but they would not always learn about Allah easily. So that's why all of them should be inside. And when we're done, they go outside and play. Because they would hold on to the information. And I was surprised that the kid actually said, I learned Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. I said, what is Tawheed al-Rububiyyah? It was difficult for him to say what it is. So I told him, what is Tawheed al-Rububiyyah? 10, 15 minutes after somebody, I was right there, somebody asked him back, what did you learn? And he was able to say what Tawheed al-Rububiyyah is. So information helps tremendously, but we have to make it available to them. So this thing is very heavy, except on those who have faith and are convinced that it would make a difference in their life. The Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Jidaru baynana wa baynahum salawat al-khams. Was he lying? He said that the wall between us and them, as-salawat al-khams. Allah says that this salah is supposed to protect us from evil, and Keep us in line with what is good. And the remembrance of Allah is the greatest thing. Is Allah a liar? Is Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam a liar? So that's what Allah said. وَإِنَّهَا لَكَبِيرَةٌ إِلَّا عَلَى الْخَاشِينَ. That this thing is a burden except on those who fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And know what Allah says? Those who fear Him, that they think, they know, they are certain. الَّذِينَ يَظُنُّونَ أَنَّهُمْ مُلَاقُو رَبِّهِمْ وَأَنَّهُمْ إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. That they one day will return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sit quietly and listen. Don't disrespect anyone here. You too, sit down properly. Yeah, you with the shorts. This is the place where we come and learn respect. So, this is something that we need to understand, that it is heavy. So for us who know better, then inshallah we should do better. For us who know what is the correct thing, we should try to teach and uphold the correct thing. And Allah will make it easy for all of us. Allah will protect us. And Allah will make our understanding clear if we are inclined to Him. This is not something you and I develop, by the way, by being associated with Islam. This is something given to us by Allah. And we have to prove to Allah that we are deserving of it. So brothers and sisters, in short, be it who we live with or where we are living, Allah give us the tool to deal with situation. And in this part, belief. And that is what we as Muslims should do, because Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam came and he was in the midst of all of this. And Allah taught him how to behave. Allah taught him what to do. Allah taught him how to react to the people. And Allah taught him what will keep him above all of them. And our deen is one of the best things that is given to the world. It is the most beautiful thing. You know how nice you feel when you pray and you can relax afterwards and you only think of Allah rather than to be in a state of confusion. So salah can become one of the most relaxing things in life. It is one of the strongest forms of therapy. And in conclusion, a reminder to myself and a reminder to you, the Sahabas, when they were in battle and they get hurt and they had to be treated, if they were pierced by arrow or they were wounded by arrows, you know what they would say? Let me start praying, then you can do what you have to do. You know why? Because they concentrate on the prayer and it's less on that and it became less painful for them. Do you know how they used to stop profuse bleeding in those days? They would drop hot oil on the injured area so as to burn the veins and to stop the bleeding. Today we have laser that does that. Right? They burn the veins and it stops the bleeding. Muslims are doing this way back. You know how painful that is to drop hot oil on a wounded area of the body? So we have to be patient in all of this. And we have to tell ourselves, brothers and sisters, we need to develop a desire to get closer to Allah. And Allah will help us. So with this, I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for you and I in this dunya and the akhirah, and to keep us motivated to be on the truth. And brothers, sisters, let me remind us all, including myself, our best assets are these youngsters sitting in the masjid. And we should guard them, take care of them, and try to harness their energies and make sure that we put effort in them to make sure that their mental capacity becomes aligned to what Allah and His Rasul say. And our world will be much easier for us. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.